get the program going in 3, 2, 1. What up, folks? Once again, it is indeed your boy Tim, the handsome liberal. Nikki Haley is in the news. I understand with my audience, particularly my beloved MAGA, there's not a lot of love for the former South Carolina governor, Nikki Haley. But make no mistake about it, she has had another campaign speech today in which she stated after the election in South Carolina this Saturday, she's going to be still in it on Sunday. In other words, it does not matter what happens in her home state of South Carolina. She is not dropping out of the race. Nikki Haley has promised to stay in the race no matter what. So first thing we're going to be talking about is, what is her goal? Why is Nikki Haley still in the race, even though the polls suggest she is going to literally lose every state in the union? But in her speech is what we want to talk about also. In her speech, she suggested that neither Biden nor Trump are the best candidates to unify this country. As you see, the video discusses, the title of this video discusses unifying this great nation. So what we're going to be asking is a simple question today. It's a fairly slow news day, but this is important nonetheless, which is why I'm here. I wanted to talk to the folks and get your humble opinion. What commander-in-chief seeking the nation's highest office, which one of these folks between President Biden and President Trump would be best at unifying this nation? Or is unity not important at all? Perhaps some folks believe it's more important to focus on getting this country back on course. And if you don't unite everybody, then who gives a damn? A lot of folks believe that. So what we're going to be talking about is between Biden and Trump, have in mind, because Nikki Haley also stated that most of America, I think she stated 70%. I'm not sure if she's correct, but Nikki Haley suggested that 70% of the voting public do not want to see a Biden rematch. So a hell of a lot of Democrats don't want to see Biden at the top of the ticket, and there's a lot of Republicans, according to Nikki Haley, who obviously has a conflict of interest, but Nikki Haley is also saying there's a hell of a lot of Republicans that does not want to see a resurgence of President Trump. So in regards to who could unify this country, let's start with Trump versus Biden. Who do you think, if they were propelled to the nation's highest office come in November, which one of these individuals you think could unify this country? Or do you see Nikki Haley as someone that could probably be better at bringing unity to this great nation? Going to be asking that question. Looking in the comments real quick now, folks are suggesting both. I'm seeing someone says Biden, easiest answer ever, but I do see a hell of a lot of folks saying Trump. By the way, you know how the program runs. Program is and always will remain MAGA friendly. Nevertheless, liberals are always welcome on the program. So understand that when you're in the box, no one's going to block, ban, or censor you. So that's how we run this program. In addition, I want to talk to you folks about something on a side note. Now, this is a very controversial subject, but I want to get your opinion. And as you know, we don't run a censored program, so the opinions on this could be wild. Some folks may say things others may find insulting, but nevertheless, if the TikTok gods allow you to speak, if the YouTube gods allow it to be played, then therefore it will be, because your host, your humble correspondent, I do not censor. Replacement theory. Do you believe there is validity to replacement theory? The idea that someone is trying to change the very fabric of this country. Many folks have started to even point out that the television commercials are now featuring more minority actors and actresses than what would represent the actual number of them in this country. I saw somebody on YouTube posted a video that said they were celebrating the death of white families in television commercials. In other words, you watch a cereal commercial, the family's either minorities or an interracial couple or something like that. Now, we understand that whites in this country still represent 60% of the nation. So the commercials, if you're going to do it to a point where it's representative of the actual population, then 60% of them should feature a white couple. But some folks are saying that in this country, there is some type of replacement theory going on behind the scenes. Certainly, we're seeing a hell of a lot of immigrants coming to the country, and Biden, if you ask the folks on the right, my beloved MAGA, would suggest that Biden wants them all to be here, and there is some sinister explanation behind it. So I want to ask you folks about those two issues. Looking in the comments, does it embarrass you that these actors got the job because of diversity, says Hugh Glass? No. Good question. Fact is, that is the American way. For most of America's history, if yours truly, if I was to apply for a job and my competition was white, he was going to get the job because he was white. Picking folks because of their skin color is kind of the American way. That's how it's always been, has it not? Let me know in the comments. Going straight to the box. Appreciate you folks that are tapping the screen. Going straight to Rick. Good afternoon, Rick. And in the comments, the Sonoma says that's BS. You're saying in this country, most of our history, the color of your skin did not matter in selection of employment? Really? Rick, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Good to have you.
I've seen you several times.
Thank you.
Several times. I got a bunch of people that beat me to the live.
Oh, well, I'm glad that you're here first. You are number one today, Rick.
Good. Let me ask something.
Sure.
Have you ever seen a Nikki Haley rally on TV?
Yeah, I seen one today.
She is awesome.
Do you think she's a better choice than Trump?
Yes.
Why?
Because number one, she believes in the veterans. Okay? Veterans have a big homeless rate. Veterans also, at 22 people a day, die or commit suicide in this country. We have to do something about that.
You don't, let me just interrupt you. You don't believe Trump cares about the veterans?
No. He's made comments.
Wow.
He's made comments. Biden's made comments. You know, the only way we're going to unify this country is not making comments about black people, not making comments about veterans, you know. I mean, we have to be one country. You know, we're not a black or a white country, we're Americans. My opinion.
So at the end of the day, out of those three candidates, Trump, Biden, and Haley, you're certainly you're looking towards going for Haley.
Yes.
Wow. Now, how do you feel about her recent comments that the Civil War had nothing to do with slavery? Because you mentioned we are a one America. We're not white or black. That angered a lot of African Americans.
I don't think she really knew what she was talking about, to be honest.
But wait. If you're from South Carolina, literally the grandfather of where a large portion of slaves originally entered, how could you not know that unless you slept through history class?
I didn't say not know it. I said it was a big slip.
Okay.
That's what I meant.
Okay. All right. Wow.
Now, I'm originally a Michigan boy. I've been in North Carolina since '84.
Okay.
Okay. And I was with the military 21 years. Okay.
Appreciate that.
When I came down to North Carolina, I saw so many wrong things. Okay. And I just couldn't understand that. Cause I mean, I'm a northern boy.
Define wrong things. You said you saw so many wrong things. For the audience, explain what is a wrong thing?
The way they treated other races.
You said North Carolina or South Carolina?
North Carolina.
North Carolina. Wow. Okay, keep going.
Okay. Now, again, I love this country. You know, have you ever been to see these lives that people have If you support MAGA, you're not a patriot. If you support Trump, you're not a patriot.
Yeah.
I challenge any of them. If they're such a patriot, do they serve? Okay. Do they serve our country? You know, I still cry when I hear the national anthem. I see I got a flag in my yard and a flagpole, okay? That's how I feel about that's how I feel about my countrymen.
Wow.
You know, I mean, I don't look at you as black or me as white. I look at us as brothers, okay? That's why we need to look at each other.
Let me ask you this. Now, Nikki Haley, after the Dylan Ruth mass shooting, took down the Confederate flag in your state. Did you support that?
Yes.
Okay. Why do you think? Go ahead.
Okay. The reason I supported that was because they've had those Confederate flags up for a long time. Again, I'm a Northern boy. If we're gonna heal this country, we need to go away with that. I mean, if they want to do it in their homes, that's fine. But we don't need to have it over capitals. I just believe we should have the American flag at all costs.
What does that flag mean to you?
The flag?
The Confederate, when you see the stars and bars, what does that mean to you?
The American flag means a lot to me.
No, I said the stars and bars, the Confederate, the battle flag.
Oh, okay. No, I don't like that at all. Because it did make more slaves. It did hurt people, you know. I mean, I'm going to be honest with you. It hurts my heart to see people the way they're treated now. I mean, we're doing better in the black and white thing, but we need to do a lot better.
Wow.
Okay. I mean, like I said, we got to be brothers. I mean, when I served in the Army for 21 years, I had a lot of black brothers to me. I mean, we were brothers in the military. Okay, women too. You know, I mean, I remember my wife passed away at 39. Okay.
Wow.
I had people that were in my chain of command that were black ladies, that were black men, that were, you know, they were by my side the whole time.
Now,
I mean, they came over, gave me food. They came over, took care of my kids and me, you know. And that meant a lot to me.
And you think, and so you do think Nikki Haley would resonate her? We're talking about unity, certainly between the races and different cultures in this country. Do you see Biden or Trump as being intolerant, or, you know, any racism coming from Biden or Trump? Do you see any of that coming from either one of them?
Well, okay. Do you know anything about Biden?
A little bit.
Back in the day when he was a senator, you know who he was supporting?
Give me who you're talking about. I got a few answers, but go ahead.
Senator Byrd of West Virginia.
Yeah.
Senator Byrd was a big racist.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, how can you say you're not a racist when you're supporting this guy? You know, and he was. He was also went to meetings of the KKK. Okay.
You saying Trump? I mean, you're saying Biden went to KKK meetings, or are you saying that? Oh, Biden.
Yep. Now Trump, I don't see Trump. He says things at times that he shouldn't say, and it pisses people off by doing it. Okay. I thought he did this country good when he was president.
Okay.
You know, with the oil, I mean, we had super numbers on our economy. I mean, now you hear women go, everybody say, well, it's better. I don't know. Ask a woman that has kids. You know,
so let me make sure I get it clear. So you do see you see the racism in at least Biden's history. You mentioned Senator Byrd. You don't see any in Trump, is what you're saying. Am I make sure I get that part right?
You could take it that he is, but some of the comments. But I think people overreact to him because he says other things.
So I do got to move it on, but before I do, why do you think if Biden is the one that has more intolerance in his past, why do you think Biden does better with minorities than Trump?
Well, he's not anymore.
You think Trump is going to get more minority voters, particularly the black community? You think more of them going to go with Trump than Biden?
Have you seen on TV the polls going on?
I haven't seen that one.
A lot of, oh God, yes, a lot of black people are more for Trump.
Wow.
Because they know they think the Democratic Party, I saw something on this last night, that doesn't take care of black people like we should. Okay? A lot of them are upset because of immigrants. They're giving a lot of these immigrants in California and New York $1,000 gift card. They're giving them food, a place to stay. They don't do that for any of us, white, black, or any of us, you know? I don't see where someone that is not from this country deserves anything.
Yeah.
You know,
I don't disagree that somebody from a different country should be able to come to America and skip the line, but I think you and I totally disagree that Trump is doing better with minorities, particularly blacks, than Biden. Go ahead. Last word. Go ahead.
I have seen a lot of black gentlemen on TV, okay, that say they don't want Biden. They don't trust Biden. No. They're saying that his people and him the Democrats haven't been taking care of black people.
Yeah. Yeah, I've heard that. I've heard that, but I didn't hear a lot of black folks bragging when Trump was in office that we're doing really well and he's doing. I heard Trump and Trump supporters saying they were doing a lot for blacks, but there were no huge amounts of television commercials or news expos. If you watch right-wing media, when Trump was in office, they weren't putting mics in a bunch of black people's faces like, yay, Trump is doing great by us. I think they don't like Biden to some degree, but I don't know if they see Trump as a replacement.
Well, I'm going to tell you what. I've seen interviews with a lot of black politicians that we're Democrats and are Republicans, okay? And they don't want to do the Democratic Party. Why, I don't know. I'm assuming, which is dangerous, that it's because they don't feel that Biden and his gang is taking care of them. And the Democrats aren't taking care of them.
All right.
And this is what I've seen on TV, and things that I've heard.
Okay.
Now, I'm going to be honest with you. I haven't really been out because I had a stroke a few months ago, and I haven't been out. I'm home a lot. I don't like. I could ask my people, my friends that happen to be black and happen to be white. A lot of the people were telling me Trump's doing good things, but they don't like some of the stuff he's saying.
Yeah.
You know?
I believe that. I do believe that. But Rick, I do got to move it on. I appreciate you coming through, but I do believe you are correct. But some of the things Trump is saying is controversial, and a lot of folks don't necessarily like that. But I do appreciate it. I got to move it on. All right. Hey, thank you, and I'm glad to have had you on. Tap the screen, folks. Certainly get your boy up to around 15,000 if you will. John Marshall says, your content is veering. It's definitely losing me. Feel free to state in the comments what part of the content is quote-unquote veering. I mean, elaborate on that. That doesn't tell me much. Following up, what has Trump done, says Quinlan? Well, folks do believe that Trump, his economic numbers are what they're going to cite. They're going to cite that the jobs numbers in the African-American community were pretty high. The unemployment rate was pretty low. The inflation, I mean, there are things to cite. There are things to cite. But like my last caller stated, his verbiage is not helping things. I understand if you're from the MAGA side of the aisle, you go by results. You go by results. Pay attention to what Trump does, not what he says. In other words, he can say any damn thing he wants as long as the economy in the country is being ran properly. Yeah! C. Osby, the hat and mustache, well appreciated. Thank you. However, most of the country don't agree with that. Most of the country do not agree that a president can say anything they want without any consequence as long as the country is running well. So that's a battle that MAGA has had with the rest of the country. Looking in the comments real quick before we go back to the box. That was all from Obama administration, not Trump. Trump gave us $7 trillion deficit. Interesting you would say that, because Nikki Haley today in her speech stated that Trump gave us more national debt than any other president in history. Nikki Haley has come out hard on Trump now. I think your content is very informative and interesting. Just my opinion. Trump girl, thank you. Appreciate that comment on YouTube. It's not even as bad as what the left says and screams. UFO, in regards, I suppose you're meaning Trump's comments are not as bad as what the left says and screams. Fact is, that stuff shouldn't be there. It just shouldn't be happening, whether it's bad or not. For instance, the comment about telling Russia they could do whatever the hell they wanted with NATO countries. You're killing in the polls. That's a comment that just does not need to be said. It didn't help him out. It didn't gain him any supporters at all. In fact, folks who are going to stand by Trump no matter what are saying, well, I don't really like that. I mean, there was no need to say it. Going back to the box, appreciate you folks that are tapping the screen. Stick the ruler. Good afternoon. Who could be more, which candidate would be more likely to unite the country, putting Trump versus Biden? Stick. Good afternoon. Stick the ruler. How you there?
Hey, how you doing?
I'm
How you?
doing very well. Good to have you on. You got a loud background, man.
My bad, man. We got a lot of people over here working right now, but I'm stepping away. But yeah. Okay. So I heard your last guest, and I thought he was gonna go the other way, which was not Trump. And it's understandable. Even Charlemagne the God, he said it best. You know, it's not that we don't see that Joe is old, but that's the only thing he has against him is he's just a little old.
A little. He's past the lifespan of a typical human being.
Well, only because he's got 10 years. He's 10 years past what God promised us. God promised us.
Let me ask it to you. Let me ask it to you this way: do you feel confident that Joe Biden will be around and able to continue governing effectively until he's 86?
At this point, what I see, yes. And I know you're looking at me like, really?
Yeah.
Really,
Your background is real loud, man. I'm gonna have to, unfortunately.
Yeah. I'm sorry. I heard it myself. So yeah, at the end of the day, yes, I believe that he will fulfill his duties and do a Jimmy Carter. I mean,
Wow.
Jimmy Carter I mean, he's 99 years old, correct?
But let me ask you, Stick, is that the best we could put up? I mean, is Joe Biden really the best candidate we got?
Well, guess what? I would say no, but I would say this, based on his record, because this is what you do with Trump, so I'm going to do it with Biden. Based on his record, he's the best that we got right now.
Okay.
Nobody has did and passed the bills or got them passed in a bipartisan way like he did. Let's be honest. We're talking about a president that, yes, the senators came up with the plan, but it was him that was willing to sign off on it, bipartisan. Well, now when it got to the House is majority Republican.
True.
They shot it down before even looking at it. They just said, oh yeah, it's dead on arrival. So, I mean, it sounds like to me, we could have had something fixed that even the right wanted fixed, but, you know, they didn't vote for it. And it was their bill. It's mind-boggling.
So then you're talking about Biden completing a bipartisan bill. And by the way, folks, we should be around 25,000 if you let your thumbs not be lazy. Certainly tap the screen for my YouTubers. Feel free to smash that like button. This is how the program is ran. In regards to bipartisan, so it sounds like in regards to who could unify this country better, seemed like you would pick Biden over Trump.
I definitely would because I wouldn't say his teacher, but I would say his partner, Barack Obama, his slogan was "Yes, we can."
True.
So with that being said, I think we all can. So with Trump, his new thing is the revenge tour. You know, I don't see anything that's going to unite anybody other than the people who actually do want to see Trump have revenge on people. So I mean, it's either yes we can, or yes we will, or it's the revenge tour.
Wow.
So I mean, if you're a good-hearted person in the sense of you mean well, not just for yourself, but you mean well for everybody. You mean well for the country. That's what you would be wanting. That's what you would be looking for.
So, but in regards to your hold on a second. In regards to your comment that Biden would be better at unifying the country, I got someone in the comments that apparently does lean right. He says Biden was supposed to unite us when he took over in 2020, yet he has called me the devil. How do you respond to folks who would say that, you know, ultra MAGA, these dark branding comments going at MAGA? In other words, you're not trying to unify us. You're very critical of MAGA.
Well, my whole thing would be you can't unify somebody that doesn't want to be unified in the first place. I mean, off the rip, the only thing that they have to say about Joe Biden is basically that he's old, right?
Yeah.
Now,
well, no, they're going to point to the border. Well, hold on a second. They're going to. You think Biden's handling the border effectively?
I think Biden handled the border effectively all the way up until they shot the bill down. And then when they shot the bill down, they only shot it down because, like you said, it was under his watch. He would get credit for it.
Yeah.
So,
but I agree with that part. But so you're saying he was handling the border effectively until they shot the bill down. So you think the first 3 years of Biden's presidency, he was doing a good job on the border?
Well, this is the thing, Tim. Like, when you have people, okay, basically independents, Democrats, and you have some Trumpsters that go down to the border, but their reason for going down to the border is different from ours. And what I mean by that is, I have colleagues and or friends on TikTok and friends in the real world, in a sense, that have went to the border and seen gates open, but nobody's rushing through. Nobody's piling through. Nobody's getting hurt. Nobody's getting unalive coming to the border. And then at the checkpoint where they are receiving people, nobody's jumping over barbed wire. Nobody's doing this. Nobody's doing that. So what I will say is this. Yes, he did the best to his abilities as being president and with the policies that were already there. Because you got to realize the same policies that Donald Trump have or had is the same policies that our boy Joe Biden is dealing with.
That's actually not true, Stick. Trump had a remain in Mexico policy, so you had to seek asylum, you had to apply for it from the other side of the border. So that if you had
what
Trump,
I'm talking about is Title 42, like Title 42 and different things like that. All of these different little when the rushes were coming in and not rush up, but the rush of people was coming in. They were basically under the same policies. Now, did he tweak some things when he got in office? I'm pretty sure he did, just like Donald Trump tweaked some things and messed us up for COVID, but it's neither here nor there.
But is it possible that Biden tweaked some things and made the border situation worse?
I would say no. I would say what happened was one of the things that Donald Trump did change was the procedure of what's it called? Encounters versus captures and people that are basically in the process of documentation. It actually went up 3 times fold, and that's the reason why maybe it looks on paper higher under Biden than it does under Trump, because the way that they record things are different now. But just so happened the policy goes in under Biden's watch. You know how policies take 2 years to take effect and all of this other stuff. So I get it and I understand, but at the same time, I feel as instead of it being tough talk, it's actual action. Instead of it being an attitude, it's more of a policy not an attitude.
I don't know if I totally agree. I don't know if I totally agree with you on Biden's handling of the border, but I want to ask you one last question before I move it on. What do you think of Nikki Haley?
I put him in the comments. You know, if it came down to it, let's just say it was Nikki Haley, Trump. I would rather have Nikki Haley. But if it's Nikki Haley versus Biden, I would rather have Biden than Nikki Haley. And I believe that Nikki Haley is not all the way truthful with certain things. I mean, when it comes down to we black, man, you just gotta be like willing to say it, and because people are willing to receive it if you're willing to say it. You know, Civil War was about slavery, and when she failed to just when she failed to put that out there, you know what I'm saying? That just showed me that she's willing to bend the knee for somebody, whether it's her constituents, whether it's Donald Trump or whoever. That she's still on that same I guess talking point, rhetoric, and or falsehoods about the Civil War. So yeah, but I'd rather take Nikki Haley
over Trump.
Over Trump than just because number one, she's not 4-time indicted with 91 charges. I mean, to me, that's number one. Now, if I wanted a big time dope boy in the hood to look up to, Donald Trump's my man.
Donald Trump is the presidential Suge Knight. I get it. I gotta move it on though, Stick.
Yeah.
Appreciate you coming in. Real quick.
Don't forget he got the gold shoes.
Goodbye. All right, moving the program. Them shoes, I can't do them with them shoes. Even though they are selling for a lot of money. Them shoes are on eBay selling for quite a bit. But some of that was designed by limiting the amount of pairs. First of all, that's what they did. There's only a certain amount. Then he mixed in some autographed pair. I mean, everything's done to orchestrate a costly shoe. But listen, it may ultimately turn into a collector's item and be worth some money. So we'll see. But them shoes are ghastly, in my opinion. Look in the comments. Any person of color that support Trump is being a puppet of the criminals. You certainly have to elaborate on that to a significant degree. There's a hell of a lot of reasons for an African American or a Hispanic or, as you say, a person of color to support Biden. There's a lot of reasons. I mean, there's some reasons to support Trump too, but a puppet of the criminals? That doesn't make... Listen, the folks on the left are in favor of a minimum wage increase. The folks on the right are not. You realize how many people of color that would help out? The folks on the left were in favor of Obamacare and the Affordable Care Act. Folks on the right were not. You realize how many folks of color, folks that are impoverished, white people too? What do you mean? There's a lot of reasons, legitimate reasons, for a person of color to vote for Biden. Not to mention the Supreme Court justice, the vice president being black. Listen, you can see it, you can say it how you see it, and when you see it as an African American, that statement makes no sense. It really don't matter. It really don't matter if you support a Dem or Republican. They're the same differences. Anything for now, that's not true. When it comes to abortion rights, gun rights, religion, I mean, they are not the same by any stretch of the imagination. There are huge differences between Alabama and New York. They're not the same. They're just not. They may have some similarities, such as they both like money. They may both do things, that is politically corrupt to make more money, but their politics, it's nowhere near the same. I voted for Biden, but I voted for Trump before, says Dave. So what do you say? You voted for Trump? You voted for Trump first, and you didn't like him, so you picked Biden the second go around? I'd be curious to see that. Real quick in the comments, I saw someone, when he said the Civil War, he was bringing that up in regards to Nikki Haley, and I'll go right back to the box. He talked about it being, the Civil War being started over slavery. I seen in the comments, Trump girl says, no, it wasn't. Left my ass off. I don't know where history is taught that suggest that the Civil War didn't have anything to do with slavery or wasn't for slavery. I don't know. There are a lot of folks who believe that. I don't know where that history is coming from. But in my personal opinion, based on my teachings, my education, it is incredibly inaccurate. It's incredibly inaccurate. In fact, during the effort to secede from the United States, most of the states that were going to secede had already began writing their new constitution once they broke off from the United States. And slavery was in it. Slavery was already in it. I mean, just do your own personal research. Slavery was already in their constitutions. They were already talking about it was going to be what was there. So, looking in the comments, 3/5, I'm assuming he said you're 3/5 of a human being. Your thoughts on that? Horrible. It is horrible. It is horrible. Going back to the box, and it just goes to show any law has a loophole if you structure your challenge properly. All men are created equal. Well, then let's just say these people are not a full man, and it gets around it. Any law, you can find a loophole if you know how to challenge it properly, or just in that case, just make up some shit. Just say they're not a full human being, therefore they don't qualify under the grounds that all men are created equal. They're more like, maybe an animal or, maybe a reptile or something. They're 3/5 of a human, so they're not actually a man. That's the way you get around it. Looking in the comments, and by the way, Big Dog on YouTube just asked, only TikTok comments get read. All of the comments I just stated came from YouTube. Going back to TikTok, by the way, we'll keep it going with RDL, Romeo, Delta, Lima. Good afternoon, welcome to the program. What would be the best commander-in-chief to unify this nation? Certainly between Trump and Biden. RDL, what say you?
Hey, Cam, how's it going?
It's going good. Good to have you back on. Good to have you on. We're talking about unity in light of Nikki Haley's speech today. She suggested that neither Trump nor Biden is trying to unify this country and that they're both incredibly divisive. So I'm asking, between those two, who would be the best to unify this country?
Hell, I don't know. Yeah, they both need a king.
Are you a Nikki Haley fan?
No.
Why not?
I think she talks out both ends, you know what I mean? So, I just don't think she really knows what the hell she's doing in there.
So what side of the aisle you lean on?
Oh, I'm definitely leaning on the left. I wouldn't vote. I'd vote for a dead man before I vote for Trump. Get it?
What is wrong with Trump? Good economy, good inflation, cheap gas, no global conflicts worldwide. What's wrong with Trump?
Con man, liar. Of course, I think all politicians are that way too. You know what I mean? But I think Trump, like we've talked about this before, I believe, Trump probably could have done some good things, man. I think he would have won again in 2020 if it hadn't been for COVID. I believe that.
Did you vote for him the first time over Hillary Clinton?
No, I never voted for Trump either time.
Wow.
And Biden, I think it's hard for any president to do anything when your Congress is lopsided. You got the Republicans now as a majority, and Biden trying to do this like that border bill. They just squashed it, man, and then they did the same thing to Obama. That's what they do. It's not. I don't think it's. I don't think they're about America. I think that it's them guys are. It's us against them.
Wow.
You know what I mean? It's blue against red, and the last few years it's gotten worse.
So you're saying you said us against them, blue against red. You see the Republican Party as divisive, not for America.
I believe. Well, I don't know about the Republican Party. I'm talking about Congress itself. The government itself, not the
Okay.
people. The people so divided.
divided right now. It is us against them, I think, even with Americans right now. And I think that Trump caused a lot of that. And I do believe that Trump caused a lot of that.
How? What did Trump do to divide us?
Well, I don't know if he did anything to divide us. He's a con man. You know what I mean? He's got these. I think it's like a cult. You know, you've heard it. I work with a guy, man. He
What?
keeps a man on Fifth Street.
But what? I mean, you're saying Trump is a con man. What makes you think he's a con man? What has he done to make you say that?
Oh my God! Well, he filed bankruptcy 6 times. And you know what happens when you're a business owner like that, and you building $1 million buildings like he did, and then files bankruptcy. You're cheating everybody, man. You're cheating everybody that worked there. Not just the people who loaned you the money, but everybody that worked there. All the construction people.
Yeah, but and I get your point. But what you're talking about happened before he was president. What did he do while president to make you suggest he's a con man?
Well, I don't know. I just thought he was a con man from the jump. I think he's always been a con man.
All right.
Since he was started out, I believe.
But how do you think he did while president? I mean, we had low economy, we had a decent economy, low unemployment. We know the price of fuel was pretty damn cheap. Do you think he did a good job when he was in office?
I would have to say I think he did do a good, decent job in office. Better than I thought. I don't know if he did pass a lot of bills or anything. He didn't really do anything bipartisan, I don't believe. And I think that's what we need right now in this country. We need somebody that can, like you're talking about, unite this country and unite this Congress and the Senate and this Congress, man, the House and the Senate, and get some shit done for this country instead of fighting with each other. This guy Johnson, man, I think he's a wacko, dude.
Who?
The Speaker of the House.
Okay, yeah.
I think this man's he's a religious wacko is what I think he is. He said God told him he was going to do this and do that. I don't know, man. Look, them people are voted in there to work for us as Americans, and I don't believe they're doing shit for America right now.
But we also voted President Biden. And do you think Biden is doing a good job?
Yeah, I think Biden's done a lot of stuff, He's got quite a bit done bipartisan already, But since this MAGA stuff, since January 6th, you got Marjorie Taylor Greene and Bobart and Gates, these far-right people in there, man, that are just really putting a halt to everything.
But wait a minute, you said since January 6th, so I just asked you flat out, what do you think happened on January 6th?
Man, I watched it on TV and felt sick to my stomach. Like if somebody was ripping my heart out of my chest, because I think all those Americans that were there, man, has just been Donald Trump. He started screaming the election was stolen back in April of 2020. 5 months before the election even happened, he was already, it's going to be rigged, it's rigged, if I lose, it's rigged. He started that shit 5 months before the election even started. I mean,
but do you blame him for what took place on January 6th?
Yeah, I do.
Wow. Do you think that should disqualify him from being president again?
Yes, I do.
Wow.
I think he got up there and he incited those people to get angry. I mean, he started all that stuff even before January 6th. Him and Steve Bannon and all these people and Marjorie Taylor Greene, they incited this violence, I believe. They got this country angry. I grew up an old poor white guy. I never had no money or anything, and I always believed that Republicans were for the rich. I always thought, they're the ones that get the tax breaks. I've worked in construction my whole life, and I never got anything from any Congress, any government. Jimmy Carter about killed me in the 80s, you know, something like that. But you know, I just think this country needs to be turned around, man. And I don't know who can do it. I really don't know who can do it.
All right.
It's scary right now.
Well, right now it's going to be between one of these two guys unless something seriously changes. But RDL, I do have to move it on. I appreciate you coming in.
Sure.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for bringing me up.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
All right, looking in the comments, he was a Democrat genius. Are you suggesting that Jimmy Carter was I don't think that's what history, I don't think history agrees with you. Unions vote Democrat, says Twinkle Toes. Yeah, absolutely. I would actually co-sign that comment that unions overwhelmingly do vote Democrat. Dems in power benefit from Republican tax cuts. That's why they don't change it. I don't know if I agree with that, because the Democrats are the ones yelling tax the rich. Democrats do change. I mean, you go to California, you tell me they ain't changed the tax code a few times. The taxes in California are hella difficult. So yeah, they do change it. I don't totally agree with that. Make Biden great again. I've never heard that one before. All right. Yep, all their supporters don't quite get that. Trump needs all MAGA families to watch Frontline Democracy on Trial on YouTube, and he's suggesting that's going to be on January 30th. I have not heard of that. I'm a little bit interested. Democracy on Trial. Here's the issue I have with that, and I'll go right back to the box, and I do appreciate you folks tapping the screen on TikTok. Get your boy up to around 40,000. There's over 1,000 of you in here. For my YouTube audience, certainly feel free to smash that like button. A subscription would be kind, if you will. Understand, the program is ran in an uncensored format, so we do not block, ban, or censor anyone for their commentary. Even if you disagree with the host, nobody gives a damn. So whether you're in the comment section or you come up live, nobody gives a damn if you disagree with anyone. That's how the program is ran. It is and always will be MAGA friendly in its entirety. Nevertheless, liberals are welcome as well. In regards to democracy on trial, I think the issue with Trump in particular is he said a lot of things that raise eyebrows, and and maybe this is something we need to take a look at, or he drew our attention to some, or maybe expose something. But then again, he's also said a lot of things that are not true. So if his job is to drain the swamp or expose corruption, his credibility is teetering. Dominion voting machines, for instance, everything he said about those machines is not true. In fact, a lot of it's been proven false. So I do believe the $335 million lawsuit against him is excessive. So I'm not going to disagree that some of the attacks on Trump may be politically biased. But Trump doesn't make a really good victim because he's done so much things. The only difference is, someone like myself who leans left, a little bit more moderate, I can see both sides. But if you support Trump, you see when he's being attacked, and you just simply support when he's attacking others. There's no criticism of it. So it just looks like he's the victim all the time, because when he's victimizing others, like suggesting Barack Obama should not be able to be president because he was born in a foreign country, that's a witch hunt. That's victimizing that guy. Well, we heard Obama say it too, or Hillary Clinton. I mean, you're defending it, but yeah, you got to be able to see it both ways, folks. Going back to the box, we're talking about unity. Between the two we're looking at, Biden-Trump rematch, Nikki Haley says we need to get rid of the old men. She suggested neither one could unify this country, but I want to ask you folks. We'll go straight to the box. Richard Black. Good afternoon. I appreciate you folks that are tapping the screen. It helps out the algorithm, brings in more MAGA same on YouTube. Rich, good afternoon.
Hey, how you doing, sir?
I'm doing good. Talking about unity. What say you?
I think you can hang that up, okay?
Why? Why can't we unite this country? Why is that something we need to give up on?
Well, just like the gentleman you just had on, there's no unifying in anything he said, because everything was derogatory to the other side. That don't make us want to make love to nobody. You know?
Well, he did say, I like the way you said that, but he did say if it wasn't for COVID, Trump would have got reelected. I asked him, did Trump do a good job? He said, yeah. He wasn't completely bashing Trump.
Well, not completely. Well, they don't ever completely do anything like that.
Okay. Well, you don't.
I'm sorry.
No, I mean, if you were to talk to Trump himself, you see him as somebody that may be willing to give the other side a few accolades and a few compliments, or do you see Trump himself as willing to bash the left?
I don't think he's going to unify America, like if that's what we're talking about. Will he bash the left? Yeah. Will he bash the Republicans? There are some that he does bash because they look like Democrats in Republican clothing. Yeah, he does bash some people. I think Trump is, and I drove trucks for 20 years. I've been all over New York and Connecticut. I walked the streets of New York. Them people don't even look at you. You know, if you say, hey, it's like, I know you, you know. They cuss a lot, they scream a lot, they don't like nobody. He's a New Yorker, and he was raised, the first word he said was, F you daddy. That's all they know. F you this and F you that, and GD this and GD that. But no, I guess I'm 81 years old, so I've been around a day or two, okay? And I got 10,000 followers, but I don't understand that at all. I don't know why anybody follows me anywhere. But
I'm glad I follow you. I'm glad to have you on. Keep going.
I don't think Trump's running the country, and I don't think Biden is either. I think there is now everybody will say this is a conspiracy. Well, everything's a conspiracy in politics, but
true.
No, I think there's a bigger organization worldwide, if you will, that I think they can put anybody in office they want in office anytime they want to, depending on what they want for the World Economic Forum, what they want money to do, what country they want to control. They want to control this one. But it's the government. People are after the government of the United States right now. And I'll ask you to do this in your off time, just for information and anybody else. Back in 1963 in the Congress, a Democrat, now you know Democrats in 63 were different.
Yeah.
Democrats today, okay, different people. But anyway, it was done by a Democrat, and that don't mean nothing. But he read into Congress, in the records, the 45 goals of the Communist Party on how to take America.
Okay.
They're still there, but now nobody's heard of them because it's not screamed out. It's not information they want in today's world, when you and I come up, I came through the 50s, 60s, 70s, and 80s. People know what they know today. They forget what they heard yesterday. You know that kind of thing.
Okay.
But if you look that up, that's the 45 goals of the Communist Party on how to take America. And they have accomplished all 45 goals.
So do you think America's leaning towards communism?
I think communism is trying to get the government in America to be communistic in this way, that if you look at it, when you do this, you know, in your spare time, but when you look at all of this and you read it and look how the government has been taken over by one group of people. And what I mean by that is they have all of their department head agencies, all of them. And it even mentions the FBI, the CIA, and all them people.
Okay. Listen, I mean, hold on.
You read it, look at it, you'll see what I'm talking about.
Yeah, what you're talking about, what you're talking about is pretty deep. I will just say this, in regards to other isms outside of capitalism, I don't think America will be in danger of going away from capitalism if the people continue to feel satisfied and happy. What's happening in this country is under capitalism, more and more people are starting to struggle. That's why they're starting to look at socialism and all these other isms, is because they're not doing that good under capitalism. I'll give you the last word, though.
you know, most socialist countries like China, Russia, all of them have a part of, you know, they used to be total socialists or communists, but they've gotten away from that of bringing capitalistic points of view or ways doing stuff, but still having socialism involved in it. And that's some parts of what the government, socialism, this thing is so sneaky and so dirty, my friend, that you gotta have it. Everybody who screams about rich people and all that, everybody goes to work hoping they can get rich or get a job and make more money or have more stuff. We're all capitalism in that point of view. But all I'm saying is there's a group of people that want to. You can't, if you don't control American government, you can't control the world system. Okay, you can't have that one World Economic Forum. You can't have the one world order and all that kind of stuff. But if you look, and I'll come back and let you look at this thing.
Yeah.
You got to take all the department heads, all those little kingdoms in the United States, these agencies.
Listen, I do got to move it on. I will say this, though. I think it'll be darn near impossible to implement what you're suggesting. I mean, I don't disagree. There may be forces at play that want something like that in America. But I mean, because we're still fairly free in this country, to get all 50 states behind something like that, considering how different things are from state to state, I don't see it happening. They could try, but I don't see them succeeding. Richard, give you the last word. I do got to move it on.
All I'm saying is they don't want you not to have freedom. They want you. They're not going to do that. They ain't going to mess with that part of it. They try to do a little gun right. They ain't talking about that. I'm talking about they have the same mind, the same people in all these agencies. And the Congress and Senate's not making laws or running the country, and the president's signing a legal law bill. They are making rules and regulations out of these agencies that control the population.
No. I can see. Okay, all right.
I'm telling you, if you honestly look at this, and I want to come back maybe and discuss it. If you look at it, they have done that in the last 50 or 60 years. They have put people in the school boards and all these.
Yeah, what I would ask you to do is send me, because I have folks send me things and I read it all the time. Send me something on that. I would like to check it out. I do agree with you that our government is getting more stronger and bigger and powerful. So that certainly is a possibility over time, not overnight, but over time. But I do got to move it on. Appreciate you coming in.
Where do I send something to? Just go to your.
Yeah, my email address is right there on the front. You look at my profile, there's a picture of me and the email's right under it.
All right, I'll pull it up. It's a lot of paperwork, but there's only one main page.
All right. Appreciate it.
But
okay. I don't know what just send it to me though. I'll certainly like to look at that. But I will say this in regards to what my last caller was saying. Folks would not want to venture away from capitalism if it was not getting more and more unfair as we go on. You need some socialist tenets of capitalism to make it work. Fact is, if America was a 100% capitalistic country, nobody would want to be here. Because in a capitalist country, or in capitalism, you pay or barter for what you get. You dial 911, they're going to itemize a bill for you. Right now in this country, you can get police assistance and it does not cost you. It comes from the rich. It comes from folks' tax money, rich, wealthy, middle class taxpayers. That's where dialing 911, that's how that's paid for. If we make it so that everybody has to pay for everything they get in this country, that means public schools no longer are free. Everybody has to pay to go there. As I mentioned, the civil services no longer are free. If you injure yourself and you go to the emergency room, they're not going to treat you at all unless you pay for it. No one would want that, and that's another example. Every single road would be a toll road, or you'd have to pay a certain amount of money at the beginning of the year for them to put something on each vehicle that would allow you to travel down that road. If everything in this country is based on capitalism, you would not want to live here. It is as simple as that. So you have to impose some socialistic tenets to make the country work. Another issue, you think you would get a fair shake at your job if there were no socialist tenets in the way you work? Mandatory vacation or mandatory, you think they would give you overtime? If they didn't, if the government didn't force them, you think they would do that? Think they would really give you workers' comp and all that other shit if they weren't forced to do it? You think OSHA would exist if the companies had their own ability to do that on their? No. So you need socialist tenets to force folks to do things that are fair. Because at the end of the day, in a capitalist society, it's all about, I want as much money as I can get, and I want to do everything I can to make that happen and literally change everything in my favor. If I'm a corporation and we make waste, I want to dump that waste for as cheap as possible. I'm going to take it some neighborhood and dump it off in the middle of the night. You think I really want to follow the rules and regulations? You need all of that stuff. In a truly capitalistic society, it would not work. It really would not work. Looking in the comments. You so handsome. Yeah, boy, dirtbag. Yikes. Thank you, though. Taxing us on things that we already paid taxes on is fair. I don't agree with overtaxing, but there's a way to make it happen. I mean, here's the issue. In America, what supposedly is one of the wealthiest, if not the wealthiest country on earth, we have a lot of folks complaining about being broke. We probably complain about money more than any other country on earth, yet we have it all. I mean, even now, when you talk about universal health care, well, who the hell's going to pay for it? All the other countries that are far poorer than the United States, they found a way to do it. You know why it's a problem in the United States? Because we're a capitalist country, and capitalists don't like to share. Everything you propose features someone saying, well, who's going to pay for it? Because capitalism is not about sharing. It's not about being fair. It's about making as much for yourself as you can, irrespective of everybody else. So that way, anytime somebody else is in need and there's something proposed to help them out, the first response is, well, who's going to pay for it? Because I don't want none of my money going to it. That's the way a capitalist country is ran. Almost sounds stingy to some degree. Going to the comments, when was America great? Slavery times. Damn, you think slavery featured a great America? Angie Smith. Good afternoon, Angie. Trump just went down in history as the worst president ever. Linda, I don't know about that one. Angie, good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Can you hear me?
Loud and clear. I seen in the comments, I'll give this one to you first. Linda Mayport says, Trump just went down in history as the worst president ever. You don't see that, do you?
As far as him being the president, yes, absolutely. You know why? I'm not going to, he went in not knowing policy. He really didn't know anything because people were so affixed on him being a businessman, quote unquote, that they were forgetting that he wasn't a politician. So you have to have some sort of know-how or knowledge when you're entering into that realm. You can't go and get a basketball player and put him on a baseball field and say that, okay, man the position. Yeah. What's going to happen? Yeah. You're going to be knocked out by the ball because you think you can shoot it instead of catching it. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, but so how do you respond? Like, for instance, on YouTube, A. Griffith says Biden is the worst president in history. Do you see Biden as a better leader than Trump?
Biden has a better team. You know why? Because now I'm going to go back. Character takes you a lot further than your actual talent or skill can. So Trump sank a lot of his own ships with his own mouth. If he had to learn how to be quiet on certain instances, not be so derogatory when he was speaking against people, just put out what your plan is and let it be done, then he wouldn't be in this position. He sank his own ship.
But listen,
as far as Biden goes, Biden's old as Methuselah right now. I think he should give up the position. I think he's a little too old, and there should be something in place where there should be an age limit when it comes to this position. So because now what they're going to do is eat him alive because he's old.
Yeah.
Tell me what he's not doing to help save us. We know how the government works. That's why there's multiple parties. They created multiple parties. We don't need everybody on the same page because then I can't get what I need. That's where the capitalism comes in at.
Fair enough.
So, people have to start being truthful about things, number one. Number two, you have to see where things start at. You have to go back to the beginning of certain things to see how it was created, to see why it is the way it is now.
But when it comes to Biden, you mentioned Biden being old. Now, Trump's 4 years younger than Biden is. Do you see Trump as maybe more vibrant and more, better for the office?
No, I think they both has had their run. Their 4 years in difference, right? Now, the age that they're being is not much difference. Now, if you were saying he was 55 and he was 49, then we'd be in a different ball. But they're both over retirement age. The retirement age is what, 62 or 65?
Yeah,
they're
way. Yeah, Bill Clinton. Bill Clinton said it best. Bill Clinton said, "I've been in office over almost 30 years, and I'm younger than both of these dudes." So that's crazy.
That's a whole mess.
Yeah.
It's sad, and as far as the division goes in this country, we were already in a mess. We were already in a mess, and a lot of things were only pacified. They were never, they were never satisfied. They were only pacified. So as division, there was a lot of racism in this country. So
do you see racism from either one of these candidates, Trump or Biden?
They both have to. They have to because of their age and the time that they grew up in this country. Absolutely. I'm sure the conversations that were going on at their dinner tables had to do with an N-word. You know what I'm saying? So now, as far as like they keep saying that Trump brought all of these racists out. No, they were already there. Obama was the rock that fell into the snake pit.
Wow.
So you know why? And I'm very critical when it comes to stuff like that. But when they see you had a lot of people, Biden and Trump in them age, and their people and their people that were still living that were older than them, you know what they were saying? How dare they have an N-word running this country? What has this country coming? What has this country came to? So, I mean, it's you have to play it as a factor. We don't want to. We want that stuff to go away.
But what about right now? Is it possible that maybe Trump or Biden used to be intolerant, but they've moved on from it? I mean, what about right now? Do you see any?
No, that's very possible. Trump but see, the thing is, I don't think Trump was a racist. Trump loves attention. Trump loves money. So he really had no respect of any persons. He didn't even like people that he grew up with. So you know what I'm saying? So I don't think that he was a total racist. Did he have racist antics and tactics that he absolutely did. So that stuff happened to supersede him when you out running the country. We already know when you go into a certain position, the first thing they're gonna do is dig up dirt on you.
Yeah. So, but listening to you talk, it sounds like you see Biden having more racist racial past, and you see Trump as more of an opportunist. Like you said, he didn't like anybody.
He absolutely is.
Okay.
No, I do. I believe so. And I just because of the time and they grew up, there was nothing but racism going on in America.
But then based on what you're saying, if we have no other choice at all, if it absolutely just comes down to these two men, regardless of how we feel, African Americans should vote for Trump.
Either way, we're screwed.
That ain't what I'm saying, though. I get it. I get it, but if it comes down to those two.
No. I say no to Trump simply because his numbers are all over the place. You have indictments. You filed bankruptcies. He should, in my personal opinion, he should have never been president. Simply
But
because he
I get your
he already had too much stuff going on.
yeah, I get your point. I get your point on the court system, but I'm saying if somebody had an issue solely and they were using racism as their sole reason to vote, they were a one party voter or one issue voter, a single issue voter, and racism was their biggest issue, they should vote for Trump. If they're a minority listening to you, they should vote for Trump.
No, but if that's how they see it, that's how they see it.
No, that's how you're saying it. You're saying that Biden is racist and Trump is an opportunist. I mean, so if racism is your biggest concern, you should vote for Trump.
Take the lesser of the two evils. So, Trump, he's going to accept anybody that will accept him. Biden is, well, we already know when it comes to the presidency, it's who has the best sales pitch. They're like car salesmen. Let me see if I can catch them. So whatever the masses go after, then that's what I'm going to put out. Now, again, this is where Trump sank his own ship. The things that you say are very derogatory towards people, whether you meant it or not. Come out with a plan. We don't want to hear none of that stuff. Come, show us the plan. We already know. Biden, they said Biden said some racist things. I'm sure he did. But what the acts he was doing, the policies that he was putting in place, and everything that he was trying to, put forward, he didn't let that racism come out of his mouth.
But you're saying it existed, Angie. So I'm saying.
Of course it exists.
All right.
I would be a fool to say that it doesn't. And anybody that you be like,
I'm just
to say that it doesn't.
All right, fair enough. I do got to move it on, but I'm just listening to you.
Okay.
I'm listening to you talking. What you're basically saying, if you're a single issue voter in the African American or minority community, and racism is your biggest issue, then Trump represents the lesser of two evils. You're saying that he may get you.
Maybe I misspoke that, because no, that's not true at all. They're like two horns on the same devil.
Okay. Well, at first you said Trump is not a racist and Biden is. That's what you said.
No, that's not exactly what I meant. No.
Okay.
I said I believe they both are. I believe to a certain extent that they both have some sort of racism because of the time that they grew up.
Okay.
Both.
Well, what about right now? What about right now? Do you think they're both still racist?
Yeah, it's probably a measure of it in both of them.
Okay. All right.
Absolutely.
All right.
Absolutely.
All right, Angie. That's a little different than what you said earlier, but fair enough.
Oh, well, but listen. Players mess up. Players fuck up all the time. Players fuck up.
I got you.
That's not what I meant. I was just excited that I got up on it, because I've been trying before to come up. You're a busy man, and it's hard to get up on the screen sometimes,
Well, I do appreciate you coming through this time, and you're always welcome back. I'll be looking out for you. All right, Angie.
Indeed, I'm here.
Thank you. So, looking in the comments, the opinion is a ageist. I don't quite BDD on YouTube. I'm assuming for folks who are against Biden or Trump being in office. I'm assuming my comments are on YouTube is saying that's ageist. Some folks are saying you're too old for the job. So, age discrimination. Listen, you're talking about being in charge of the most powerful nation on earth, leader of the free world. All of these narcissistic terms we give our president. I do believe there should be an age limit. I mean, shit, at some point, you want him. I mean, Biden's going to be 86 by the time he gives it up. That is very old for anybody to be in the White House. I mean, at 86, you could drop dead and they barely even want to do an autopsy. Shit, natural causes, 86. Why the hell are you even looking in there? 86 is natural causes. So I do think that there should be an age limit. However, that would also catch Trump up in that. My opinion, I said this before, and I appreciate you folks that are tapping the screen. Over 1,000 of you in here. We should have been around 60,000, but I haven't been soliciting that on TikTok. So if you will tap the screen, get the likes up in the 50s, I'd appreciate it. If I had to give my opinion on it, which that's what we're here for, I would limit the age of presidency in such a fashion. At no time during your presidency can you cross the 80-year mark, meaning the latest you could run for president if you're seeking 2 terms is age 72. because you're in for 8 years if you win both terms. 72 is where I would limit it. And I would limit it at 72 because if you drop it too low, and I see folks in the comments are saying 70, you would run into an issue with senior citizens because you start dropping it too low. And I see folks even saying 60. If I'm a senior citizen at 70 years old, I don't want the age dropped that low because I don't feel like this person knows what it's like to be a senior citizen. Perhaps he would become president and not do things to represent folks like me. But if you raise it to 72, now that individual has also experienced what it's like to be a senior citizen, at least for almost 10 years. 60 is too damn low. That's the exact reason folks are saying Biden is too old. For the exact reason I stated, but in reverse, meaning that the young crowd is saying, you've been old for so damn long, you don't relate to us in the 30s and 40s and 50s in terms of age. So if you make the presidency blocked off at 60, you're going to have that same complaint coming from folks that are in their 70s and 80s. You don't know what it's like to be us. You don't know what it's like to, be living off of Social Security and things like that. You're too damn young. So you're going to run afoul of the senior citizens, and keep in mind, they are by far the most reliable voting bloc out of all of us in terms of percentage of that group that shows up to the polls. They are exceptionally reliable in terms of showing up and voting. So you don't want to run afoul of the senior citizens. Look it in the comments. Trump is sharp. He runs billion-dollar businesses. He dealt with world leaders. He kept us from wars. Listen, if you favor how Trump has ran the country or ran his businesses, now Trump has like 6 bankruptcies, so I don't know if I would really throw out there how great he is as a businessman. He's had some failures too. That's worthy of bringing up. But he does appear, at least most Americans would suggest, he appears to be sharper than Biden, but he's had some business failures. By the way, for my folks on YouTube, I do appreciate you. You could be anywhere you want to be. Thank you as well. I'll go right back to the box. Feel free to smash that like button. You know how the program is ran. We do not block, ban, or censor anyone for their commentary. When you're in the comment section or whether you're discussing with the host, nobody gives a damn if you agree or disagree. So if you enjoy civilized dialogue from both sides of the aisle without any concern of the host trying to block, ban, or limit your opinion, you're in the right place. Follow the program. My YouTubers, feel free to drop a subscription. Going back to the box. Moving on with Mega P. Real quick, while Mega's coming up, someone said he's about to cash out on Truth Social. Hang on a second, Mega. In regards to the deal that Trump is allegedly making with Truth Social, that's got to be really making E. Jean Carroll and Letitia James very happy because now he can't say he's broke. Mega, good afternoon. Mega P, are you there?
Good afternoon, my brother.
Yeah, can you hear me? Okay. He dropped out, came in. Okay, well, all right, we'll move it on. He is not sharper than Biden. They just advertise Biden's gaffes more. I don't agree with that. If you watch the liberal media, they advertise Trump's gaffes. There are more Biden gaffes to advertise. There are more of them. Now, that's not to say Trump doesn't have a lot of gaffes. The right-wing media does not cover Trump's gaffes, but he does have plenty of them. But Biden does have more. I don't think there's any way to try to rephrase that. Biden does have more gaffes than former President Trump. Going back to the box, Carol about to get paid soon. Yeah, right. Carol, what is the one? E. Jean Carroll. Yeah, if Trump is about to make a whole bunch of money off of a social media buyout, yeah, E. Jean Carroll's like, well, shit, great, pay me now. Cecil Grant, good afternoon.
Good afternoon. How you doing, bud?
I'm doing good. We're talking about unity. President Biden versus President Trump. Looks like that's what we're going to be dealing with. Which one of these leaders would be better in terms of uniting this country?
Honestly, I'm going to vote for Trump, but I don't think either one can right now.
Why not?
Because I think the American people are too fixated on going after each other.
You know what I mean? I mean, we're chasing Trump in New York City over finances that really didn't hurt any of us, right? But yet we allow a governor who has her husband running, he runs vending companies in the state of New York, right? So we allow her to take $650 million from our children's education to build a new Buffalo Bills stadium. And guess who's doing the vending? You know what I mean? I mean, when are we going to hold them all accountable? You know, we're chasing some guy's private money that the banks said we didn't lose any money. He paid us.
Well, let me respond to that. I agree with you that many would suggest, listen, if the banks got paid back and they made their money in interest and they're happy, no one was injured. But at the end of the day, if there is a crime on the books and you violate that crime, if no one is injured, do you just let the person get away with it?
No, if there's a crime, obviously, and I've spoke with you before. I mean, if you do commit a crime, you need to be held responsible.
Okay, so if there is a law that suggests you tell the truth on financial documents and he didn't do it, should he be held accountable for that?
Yeah, but whose truth was it, though? Right? Because,
It's a document that has, you know, whether it's his finances or whether it's the square footage of his properties, he signs at the bottom saying that this is true and valid information. It's coming from him.
Right, but the valid information was all about what the property was worth, right? I mean, that's basically what it all boiled down to.
Is the information on the document accurate is what we're talking about.
Is the information, well, I mean, the bank gave him the money.
That ain't what I'm asking you. If the information is not factual and he signed at the bottom saying it is, and that's a crime, should he be held accountable? Even if the bank is happy.
Well, the value on anything is actually not factual, right? We can inflate the value. Now, listen, I'll give you a prime example. My home, I bought for $100,000, you know, and now I've done work inside it. Now it's my value, right? So it's the value that now I'm going to place on my home, right? So that will differ from you.
So if you put down the value of your home at the value of your $100,000 home that you have remodeled, if you put down that it's now worth $1 million, when no appraiser in the area will actually agree with you, and somehow a bank is dumb enough to give you a loan based on that information, you're saying there's no crime in that?
I would think so.
Really?
If I listen, if I said it was $1 million, right, and you bought that property for $1 million, I mean, where is there actually a crime? Like, the value on everything we have differs upon how many people want it, right?
Okay. So let me follow up and ask you this. What about the square footage? I mean, you can't, the square footage of your home doesn't go, if you lie about the actual square footage, is that a crime?
Well, yeah, and it would also be the person that, because somebody has to inspect it, right? You can't sell property. Either way, the bank is going to send somebody in that's neutral to inspect it. Be it you might have a tile missing that's got to be replaced before you can even sell it. You know what I mean? So if everybody got on the same page and there was a check signed for him, I just, and that part of it, I don't see where that's committing a crime. What's committing a crime is when we sit back and say, we don't have no money for education, right?
Yeah, but let's not jump topics just yet. Based on what you're saying, then, it really is not a crime to lie on financial documents.
Well, it depends what you're lying about.
If you're lying about the square footage of your home, saying that it is way larger than it actually is, you're saying that, hey, if you can get that past people, it's not a crime.
Well, it is if you file documents and that you don't have that square footage. But
that's part of what he's being accused of, is lying about the size of his properties.
So whoever came in and did the inspection, which wouldn't have been, right, Trump's inspector, right, it's always somebody outside that. They agreed with the same square footage, so then they also committed a crime.
Then why isn't Trump going after them then?
I don't know.
Okay.
I mean, I'm honest, I don't know.
What about playing games with how much you're worth to pay less taxes. In other words, when it's time to get a loan, hell, I'm worth a lot of money. I don't really even need this money, but I'm just coming to you for a loan anyway. But then when it's time to file taxes, you certainly ain't worth shit, so they don't tax you very much. Do you see a crime in that?
Absolutely.
Okay, he's accused of that too, by the way.
Right. Absolutely. There's a crime in that because that affects you and I.
Okay.
Also.
Okay.
So there is victims in that.
All
you know
right.
what I mean?
Well, he is accused, everything we talked about, lying on square footage, lying about his actual net worth. He's accused of lying on documents about all that stuff.
Well, again, somebody approved, right? So somebody from the opposition approved square footage if he lied about. You know what I mean? If he lied that, I mean, I've never seen inside it, and like people say the place in Mar-a-Lago isn't worth that much. But if you actually go back, that was actually built with the intentions of being the summer home for the White House.
Well, let me just say this, based on what you're saying. If I go to H&R Block or Jackson Hewitt to do my taxes, and once they do them and I know they're wrong and I sign at the bottom and then I send that to the IRS and they send me back a refund based on what that false information, because they approved it and gave me the money, no crime is committed. They didn't catch it. You're basically saying, look, as long as everybody was in on it, then it's no crime.
Right, but everybody's not in on it that it's agreeing with it. You know what I mean? If you committed that, you are committing perjury and you're lying. But if you as the inspector of my home to sell it and you're neutral and you walked in and you said, yes, I think this is worth $1 million, and I'm saying $1 million, and then the bank signs off, so now all three of us are involved. You know what I mean?
Yeah, well, if that's the case, then Trump needs to follow up with the other individuals you're talking about. But you notice he's not saying anything about that. He's making it sound like he's completely innocent. So that's a whole different argument. He's making, I didn't do anything wrong, and I don't think the courts are buying that. It looks like, listen, you handed documents over, and not only that, but it doesn't help that his own former attorney, Michael Cohen, is testifying that he was helping him do the stuff under Trump's direction. That doesn't help.
Oh, and I'm sure, especially these guys that's got the money that can have everybody find every loophole there is.
Yeah, that's what happened. And that you make a good point. That is likely what happened with President Trump. Is that because you say, well, look, if the appraiser agreed to it, or if he had people in his pocket. When you got that kind of money, you can get folks to sign a document to say any damn thing. And that's likely what happened. That's likely, just like when Trump said he was worth $15 billion, Forbes probably just took his word. Just like the appraiser, look, this guy owns half of New York. He ain't gonna lie over one building, and they just took his word. That's likely what happened.
I would have to agree with you on that. And of course, when you got the green paper, you can move mountains.
Right, but that doesn't mean you are a morally legal individual. That just means you're taking advantage of it.
I agree with that 100%.
Are we talking about a two-tier financial system?
We definitely got that in America.
All right. All right. So
I mean, we watch it every day. It's all the way around. It goes in the context of where you live, how much money you got. You know what I mean? So
let's just be clear. In regards to President Trump, whether they overdid it in this case, and I think $335 million is a big ass amount of money. I think you and I can come to one agreement that Trump was not being truthful on his finances. I think that is fairly certain. It's just a matter of did he lie to the point where it was worth fighting him this much, or did he hurt somebody in the process of his lie? But he was inflating shit. I mean, there's no denying that guy was not being truthful.
I 100% agree with that.
All right. I suppose that's really all you got to take in consideration. If it's a lie to lie on if it's against the law to lie on the documents, then he broke the law.
Right, but shouldn't it have been, right, if we're looking at in that aspect, though, shouldn't it have been the finance company that said, you actually did, but didn't they side with him? It was like, no, we got everything we.
That's a good question, and I'll answer that by saying this. Just like you were agreeing with me a minute ago about Trump likely having appraisers and folks in his back pocket, he probably knows that if he said what you're saying, look, it ain't my fault, they agreed to it, they would come out and testify and say, dude, you had us lie on this building, you had us lie on that document. He knows that if he actually pulled that stunt, all types of other shit he probably ain't never been held accountable for might come out. That's what happened with Michael. That's what's happening with Michael Cohen. Is that once he threw Michael Cohen under the bus, the guy just started singing. And Trump Trump was good friends with Rudolph Giuliani, who was the king of New York at the time. And he's the king of real estate in New York. You know they're making side deals and shit like that. So if he starts holding financial places accountable and shit for putting bad things on the documents, and all of them folks start singing, he would never get out of court.
And I don't think half of these rich, if we started doing that kind of system, I don't think 90% of these rich people would get away with it either.
No.
You know?
But Trump was put in office to drain the swamp. Now that we're digging in his finances, it looks like he was just another one of them.
Well, he was following the loopholes that are put on the book.
That ain't putting appraisers in your back pocket and getting them to lie on that ain't a loophole. That's against the law. You just getting away with it because you're rich.
It is against the law, right? But every one of these rich people like that, that's how they live life. That's how their fortune continues.
So
their fortune continues by all the loopholes they lay on our backs.
So where's the part about him being for the common man and draining the swamp? It sounds like he's using his wealth to get more wealth for himself.
Actually, no, because when he was running for office, right? Wait a minute, just on that statement though.
Okay.
Right? And he is no doubt, like he's still running in it for his wealth, right? No doubt, he's a millionaire, man. I mean, what do we expect? We don't expect him to come in and say, I don't anyway. I don't expect him to say, here's my millions, right? He's going to want to make more money, right?
But you're painting a picture of a very corrupt individual, and you're making it sound like, but when he was president, he did throw us a bone. But you're painting a picture of a very corrupt individual now.
Financially, I mean, like I said, the millionaires, dude, they have the loopholes that we don't have. Right?
This ain't a loophole. This is corruption that it goes unchecked because they're millionaires. It ain't a loophole. A loophole means you can do something and get away with it, and it's actually legal. What he did is illegal. It's just he is so high up on the scale that folks overlook it. But it ain't a loophole. But he is breaking the law. That's why he's ordered to pay so much.
Again, but if we press the House to pass a law that actually makes them everybody, and now we put a law on the books, that they don't have these little loopholes, right? That they can worm their way through. You know what I mean?
Okay, but
I support Trump. The main reason I support Trump, right? And are they ever going to reveal the swamp and give it to us? Absolutely not, because then they'd be giving up all their power. You know what I mean? I mean, he opened eyes to a lot of the stuff that's going on, but at the end of the day, his 4 years in office, how could he actually work 4 years when he had opposition from day one? We talk about January 6th, but all the way leading up to that, you had people saying, if you see these kind of people in public, get in their faces, do this, do that. I mean, they all created the havoc.
But when you say, when you say Trump had problems from day one, do you think Trump has given Biden a fair chance from day one?
I don't think Biden deserved that chance, Buck. I think.
Do you think, hold on. Do you think Trump gave Obama a fair shake from day one?
Well, they were enemies before that anyway. These guys had a tit for tat going when Obama was governor because he made some comments.
Obama's never been governor.
So they did. Huh?
Obama's never been governor. Obama has never been a governor.
Oh, I thought he was. Wasn't he? What was he? A senator?
He was a senator for 2 years. Yeah.
Senator. I apologize. I was just trying to rush and get it out there, but. You know, that little squabble there, I mean, that started way back when. But again,
well, wait a minute. Hold on. Think about what you're saying. So Trump never gave Obama a chance from day one because they were enemies. Well, when Trump became president, he had a whole lot of enemies, such as Obama. Obama had a huge following after being president for 8 years. Then Trump follows him up, and you go, well, they didn't give him a chance from day one. Well, all of Obama's enemies probably didn't like him for what he did to Obama.
Well, I mean, you look at your prime example with Oprah. She's the one that, I mean, for 10 years, 15 years, she said to Trump, when are you going to run for president? When are you going to run for president? This wasn't something that just happened in one day.
Okay.
You know, and he always stated, when I see this country going down the tank, that's when I'll run.
Well, he sure.
We never ran the 4 years on Trump to let him run that presidency.
You see, wait. You said he said when he see the country going down the tank. When Obama got left office in 2017, you think the country was going down the tank at that time?
Absolutely. The division in this country started long before Trump, right? The division started when the man walked out, and I voted for him, right? I voted for a...
What other than division, what else was going down the tank when Obama left office?
Everything, our pride, our knowledge. I mean, the man stood up and told the country, right, that you're not smart enough to handle your affairs. You need me, you know. And you know what? I think I can think for myself. I know how to eat. You know what I mean? Yeah, that was a clear statement.
You heard all of that from Obama?
Oh, yeah, he stated it to the world. It's there. Go back and look at it, buddy.
I've never, wow, okay. I've never heard of any of that.
Matter of fact, I'll pull up the speech and I'll send it to you.
Okay, and I would absolutely like to see that. I do got to move it on, Carol. You've been Cecil. You've been a good guest. Appreciate you coming through as always. I do have to move it on. Come on back anytime.
Hey, yes, sir. Thanks for having me, bud.
Absolutely a pleasure. Absolutely a pleasure. Looking in the comments, I want to see that feed. If I get it, Momo, I will certainly talk about it on a future show. That Obama said that stuff. I've never heard of that. Why is this guy getting so much airtime? I enjoy speaking with my last guest. That's why he got airtime. When you crash the economy and then it's barely coming back and below Trump levels, don't brag. Yikes. Ignorant, different planet. You guys were not big fans of my last caller on. Wow. Division started when Trump said Obama wasn't from the USA. Let me just say this, and this goes to everyone. The first black anything tends to come with division. First black anything. General, ball player, student going to a certain school, individual eating in a restaurant. The first black anything comes with division. So the idea that division started under Obama should be fairly expected. It's kind of the American way. That's what happens. So, I mean, president? Really? How many of us remember the day, and I'm assuming if you're over 35, you probably said this in your lifetime, there'll never be a black president. Most of us thought that until he got elected. So the idea that Obama got elected and there was division, isn't that kind of the American way? I mean, like I said, you're the first baseball player, and folks don't. I mean, that's just kind of how the country has always been. Looking in the comments, Nixon was the downfall of the country, says Craig B. I don't know. Nixon? Really? Now, the trading with China that started taking place under Nixon, if you're talking about that, then I kind of agree with you. Trump was a Democrat I'm assuming Trump was a Democrat his entire life and one of the largest supporters of the Clintons before he ran as a Republican, says the Freeman on YouTube. That is true. That is absolutely true. Remember he said he would run when he saw the country crashing. He ran because Obama was black. Yeah, the economy when Trump took office, January 2017, the economy was in good shape. So the idea that the economy was falling apart towards the end of Obama's administration makes no sense. We were winding down the Iraq War. The military conflicts were going down that had started in the Bush administration. The country wasn't doing that bad under Obama. I don't get where that's coming from. Now I remember Trump saying it. Trump was saying the military was dilapidated and every damn thing, but he was doing that so he could get elected. But I don't recall all of that. Q Finney, good afternoon. Welcome to the program, Q. Of course you don't. No, I don't. Maybe you can help me out, Troy Keller. Q, good afternoon.
Hey. What's going on? Can you hear me?
I can hear you loud and clear. So we're talking about unifying the country. Do you think either one of these presidential candidates could do that?
Unfortunately, no, I don't. The problem is that Trump is going to do what he already did, which is separate us all. He brought out, I can't even say separate us all, but his views and his rhetoric brought out the worst in America.
Give me some examples.
Like MAGA itself, exactly. There are and I hate to put it like this because that's a really wide range amount of people, but everybody saying MAGA, you started seeing Don't Tread on Me come out. You started seeing all of the Proud Boys come out, the KKK come out. We're talking about people who basically said it's so that Trump himself, I'm cool with David Duke. Really? You're cool with David Duke?
No, he said he didn't know who David Duke was.
Yeah, he did, but we all know that was a lie, right?
Well, yeah, but he didn't say I was cool with him.
Oh, okay. Well, you can say that, but if you're supporting David Duke, you ain't cool with me.
No, I agree with you. I agree with what you're saying. I'm just simply saying I think you're attributing things to Trump that he didn't say. He didn't say he was cool with David Duke.
I would be okay to attributing that one thing that is not associated with him, but I will say that a lot of racist rhetoric came out when Trump jumped in office. A lot of racist rhetoric, the birtherism, Obama's not let me see your birth certificate. Oh, he's not an American citizen. Oh, he shouldn't be able to run for president. The whole idea that Obama being a black man, much like your guest earlier said, the reason Trump won is because Obama was president for him. That's the only reason all these people are so upset and we gotta vote for Trump. We gotta steal the election. And then there are these evangelicals. Lord help me, these evangelicals who believe that this guy is sent from God. Are you kidding me?
Well, but wait a minute. You gotta give Trump credit. He did something they've been trying to do for 50 years. He has protected the sanctity of life for the unborn. That's something evangelicals, that's their primary issue. He successfully gave them what they wanted.
Well, here, we'll give them a hand clap for telling women what they can do with their own body. These old white men who have no idea how to make a baby, barely take care of one, can barely take care of their own kids. I'm giving them a slow hand clap right now for being able to tell all of the women of America that they can do what they can't do, what they want to do with their bodies. I am a man. I was born by a woman. How in the hell can you open your mouth as some old pasty-ass white dude with shriveled up nuts and tell some woman what she can do with her damn body? I'm not for that. It's disgusting, and I wish it would never happen. Period.
Wow. And I do believe Tupac has some lyrics that says something about that. You know, no way we can tell him I didn't create one or something like that. Can't tell a woman how to make one. But what I want to ask, but you got to keep in mind when it comes to rolling back Roe v. Wade, they're going to credit that with saving millions of unborn babies. They're going to say that, listen, some women have lost their right to be irresponsibly sexually, but we've saved millions of babies.
But how is that? I'm sorry. And again, this is just from a guy looking at it from a guy's point of view. I don't understand how, again, some old pasty white dudes are going to be able to tell some woman what she can do with her body. I don't understand that. Even if you want to say, oh, well, she's being promiscuous and maybe she shouldn't have.
Apparently, my caller had a call. We'll give it a second. I see in the comments, Steph Cox says, Q, you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, real quick in regards to, yeah, I figured that. In the comments, Steph Cox says, so you're okay with an abortion at 9 months. How do you respond to that?
You know, I can't be okay with any of that because I'm not pro-life. I can't say I'm pro-life. I am pro. I can't tell some woman what to do with her body. I can tell you that. That's not my business. If she chooses to have an abortion at 9 months, is that going to be sad? Yes, it is. But is there a reason behind it? Because that's what's not getting put into play. Nobody's saying, why are all these women having abortions? Because every woman doesn't have an abortion just because she wants to.
True.
And if you do that, if you are sitting up doing that, then you are saying it's okay to tell all of these women who are SA'd and RAPD'd that they can't do anything about that. Because some of those women are.
Yeah, well, let me say this. So let me say this on that. It might be popular with some and totally unpopular with others. Now, because I lean left, I am pro-choice. However, oftentimes we go to extremes to make a point, such as, folks who are pro-choice, where you're taking away abortion when a woman is sexually assaulted, like you're talking about, or in the case of rape and incest. Let's just be honest, man. 90% of abortions have nothing to do with rape and incest. It's a woman that had sex without using protection, and maybe she broke up with the guy, or she just don't want the baby at that time. That's generally why people have abortions. It has nothing to do with rape and incest. The overwhelming majority of abortions, they got nothing to do with any of that. But it comes up because it's an extreme example that makes the point. Do you agree with that?
I don't know, man, because I can't, every single case that you're saying, I can't say that that's true.
You think there's that many women? You think that all it, we have but before they rolled back abortion, there was between 500 to 750,000 abortions in this country annually. You think most of those were due to rape and incest?
I think most of those were due to sexual assault, yes.
Wow.
I don't personally believe that any woman, that millions of women across the United States of America are just jumping out of bed after they've had sex. Because you have to think, we also still have the Plan B pill. So why would it instantly be, they're just going to get abortions? Because the Plan B pill exists. If it was possible for them not to have a surgical operation to go ahead and say, I'm going to have this abortion and use a Plan B pill, why would they not do that?
Yeah. Well, let me make
as well.
Yeah, let me make one thing clear. I do agree with you completely on one point, and that is you and I are both men. I don't believe in telling a woman what to do with their body either. I would never be pro-life from that standpoint. However, that's just my opinion, and I do believe that most women, if they have not had an abortion themselves, they know at least one woman that has had an abortion that has nothing to do with rape and incest. That's in my personal opinion.
That's very possible.
Yeah, and so that,
I'm not saying that that's not possible.
Yeah, okay, fair. And that's what I said. I don't believe most abortions have anything to do with rape and incest. It's just used to, just like the anti-transgender movement coming from the right. The stuff they talk about, a kid that's 5 and woke up and decided he wants to have surgery, that doesn't represent the LGBT community. It's an extreme, it's extreme cases being used to make a point. And that's the same thing happening in an abortion.
And they use it all the time as a talking point.
Yeah.
It's very fairly disgusting to see the divisiveness that they use to try to separate us. The biggest part about it is we can't get unity because we're so far apart and nobody wants to listen. If anybody just took any second to listen, you'll be able to figure out a lot of these problems. On the other hand, your boy Trump, he ain't helping nothing. That's not going to happen. He's not going to help. And I heard somebody say it the other day, Trump for jail 2024. That's what should be.
I've seen the flags. All right, Q, I got to move it on. I don't think Trump will see the inside of a jail cell, but I have seen that. Appreciate you coming on.
We can hope so. Thanks, man.
All right, man. All right. How many of you folks, in regards to Trump potentially being incarcerated, how many of you folks think there would be some serious civil unrest if they took Trump out in handcuffs? I'd be curious to see your opinions on that. Looking on YouTube, Trump 2024, listen to what he is saying and stop listening to the mainstream media. Pull on YouTube. That's the problem. Folks are listening to what he is saying. It's not just the mainstream media. When Trump says, if you don't pay, I'm going to tell Russia they can do whatever the hell they want with you. You don't need to listen to the mainstream media. That's coming out of his mouth. That's something he is saying that is incredibly unpopular. When Trump says, Where is Nikki Haley's husband? He knew, making folks believe that Nikki Haley's husband abandoned her when he's actually out serving his country. You don't need to listen to the mainstream media. That's coming from his mouth. There are plenty of statements that has come straight out of Trump's mouth that you don't need the mainstream media to criticize the guy. He is saying some things that are not very popular, such as the comparing of himself to the recently likely executed Alexei Navalny in Russia. Trump is suggesting that he is persecuted like that. Trump has never been poisoned. Trump has never did a day behind bars. How the hell you gonna compare yourself to, what's next? You gonna compare yourself to Martin Luther King? So you don't need to have the mainstream media listen to interpret Trump as some of the things he's saying is problematic. The things are coming out of his mouth. So listen, if you support Trump, you're going to ignore all that stuff. As Craig said in the comments, too many snowflakes in this country. Fair enough. But holding a man accountable for his words doesn't necessarily make you a snowflake. Obama gets off a damn aircraft and he doesn't salute the Marines standing there and people go apeshit. But Trump, if he says, you know, my war heroes don't get captured, you're a snowflake for complaining about that? Somebody make this make sense. Looking in the comments, wow. I always point out unique comments. Kyle Ferguson, 45, in honor of President Trump. Kyle Ferguson, 3 words. Trump is Jesus. That's what it says in the comments. Wow. I'm still trying to figure out what black conservatives are trying to conserve about America. I don't quite get that comment. Conserve, lower taxes, smaller government. They want to conserve traditional values. I mean, I can explain it to you. Looking in the comments real quick, though. Politically heard 7. Good afternoon. Welcome to the program. Where's Trump's wife? Melania is not leaving Trump anytime soon. For the simple fact, it wouldn't be safe. And hang on a second politically, but I will say this. Trump has a strong persuasive ability. In other words, if you fall on the wrong side of Trump, doesn't matter how favored you are, at least with MAGA, you can instantly become enemy number 1. And I'm going to tell you, in my humble opinion, many of you may disagree, but I don't think it would be very hard if Melania Trump tried to leave Trump, maybe take him to court for a little bit of money or alimony or whatever. I don't think it would be very hard at all to convince MAGA that Melania was a gold digger trying to take Trump down. It would be overnight and she would start receiving death threats. It would not be hard at all to convince MAGA that she is now a bad person. So for Melania Trump's position, she got to stay with Trump whether she likes it or not. It ain't safe to go the other way unless you get permission from Trump. If you don't get permission from Trump, that ain't advisable. I'm assuming her whole family has told her that. Shit, you know you can't leave, don't you? Going back to the box politically, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Right. So we're talking unity. Who can give it to us between Trump and Biden?
I think it'll definitely be Biden.
Why do you say that?
Only because if you look at one thing that you always hear Trump supporters say is policies, right?
Right.
But if you look at the infrastructure bill, Trump couldn't pass it, and Biden was able to do it with the Republicans and Democrats. You look at the border wall, Trump couldn't get Mexico to pay it. Biden got Mexico to add money for the border patrol. You got, and mind you, all these bills that Biden's passing is a bipartisan bill. And you look at the student loan forgiveness. Trump couldn't pass it. Biden was able to get a lot of student loans forgiven, if not reduced. And, you know, so there's a lot of things that Biden has done in this country for the people. So and like you said, working with the politicians.
So if Biden has done all the things you've named, and I do believe most of that's accurate, why is his poll number so low even among Democrats?
I believe there's a couple of reasons. Number one is because of his age. Some people don't care about his age. I don't care about his age. But I also think number two is because a lot of people prefer Biden over Trump, but they're not a Biden supporter. They think that Biden is better for the country over Trump, so they're going to vote for him for those reasons, not because they support him.
So they're not voting for Biden, they're voting for the lesser of two evils.
Correct.
Do you feel confident that Biden could be an effective leader at 86 years of age? Because that's what he'll be on his last year in office if he wins. You think he could handle the job at 86, 85, 86 years old?
I'll be honest, okay? I am a 100% Biden supporter. I do see that him and Trump are declining. At the age of 86, I don't know anybody at the age of 86 that can be 100%. So I don't think he's going to be, okay?
Wait, you said you don't think he's going to be. Elaborate on that.
I think that because since he is declining currently
Mm-hmm.
and everything, and also Trump is also declining, both of them at the age of 86 is not going to do a good job no matter what. Now, Biden, I don't know if he'll be able to finish his whole 4 years. I hope he does. If he stays healthy, I hope he does. But if you look at, okay, we have Pelosi, we have McConnell. They're all over the age of 80.
Yeah,
they're
true.
like, 84
Yeah,
and everything else like that.
yeah.
They're still there, but they still have some decline, right? So Biden, he may be kind of in the same realm of them. So it's hard to say, to be honest, but he might be able to. He might be able to pull it off. But I will be honest, I don't know if he's going to be able to do the full 4 years. But I still will vote for him because I'd rather have him for 4 years than have a dictatorship under Trump.
Speaking of the suggestion that you'd have a dictatorship under Trump, what is so bad about President Trump? How did you favor his 4 years that he did serve? How did you think the country was being ran while he was president?
Okay, so I gave him the benefit of the doubt. I did not. I didn't vote in 2016, but I was.
Hang on a second, real quick, folks. By the way, if tap the screen, I haven't been soliciting. I usually like to get around 100,000. Still almost 1,000 of you in here. Certainly tap the screen, helps out the algorithms. So you didn't favor Trump when he was in office?
I didn't vote for Trump or Hillary in 2016. I was more of a Hillary fan, but I just didn't vote. And when I heard that she won with over 2 million votes, I thought she won. So, but then I found out that Trump won the next day. So I was actually surprised. So I did give him the benefit of the doubt up until there was a couple of things that I just didn't like when he started doing the dividing of the country, the radical left this, radical left that. I don't really remember hearing too many presidents before him saying that, because I paid attention to presidents and everything, but I'd never seen a president sit there and say, you know, the left is evil or anything like that, you know, because I did support Bush, I supported Obama, I supported Clinton. I didn't know much about McCain, but you know, but
what about how do you respond to folks who suggest that the reason Trump was so divisive is because the liberals and the mainstream media never gave him a chance from day one? Like you mentioned, the radical left and things like that. The mainstream media was constantly hounding the guy, trying to portray him as the devil. How do you respond to folks who suggest that? Because I've had him today on the program.
Yeah, well, to be honest and everything, even before he became president and everything, he had over 3,500 cases, whether he filed for them or someone filed against him. So he already had a record and stuff. So I think he had some of that baggage coming in office with him. And then he had baggage while he was in office, you know, type of deal. So like the E. Jean Carroll, that was baggage before him. That was baggage when he was in office, and it's now, you know, what it is today, right?
Now, speaking of E. Jean Carroll, 83.3 million. Do you think that was excessive for a defamation suit? I mean, you think he defamed her to the point of 83.3 million in damages?
Yes, and I'll tell you the reason why I agreed to it, and I'm going to base this based off of the recent filing to the $354 million that you had to pay. So the reason why they file or they charge him that much money is because it's basically saying, hey, you're putting these people's lives in danger because of your rhetoric, because of your supporters and everything. A lot of these women who accused him of SA, they have been threatened by Trump supporters all the time and everything. So basically when they put that dollar amount on him, it's basically saying, we don't want you to keep doing this. So we're going to have to fine you as high as we can to let you know, hey, this is what you're doing to people's lives. And that's pretty much the verdict for the $354 million. It was the same reason, so that you won't quit, so you'll stop committing fraud.
Wow. Even though folks suggest that there were no victims in his Letitia James fraud case, you still think 355 million is justified?
I think it's justified for him to learn. And I don't know if you saw this, his rally. I can't remember what state it was, but you know what he said? He said, "I didn't know what an indictment even meant until he got indicted." Okay. So and
they were cleaning him up for him. The reason why he you had folks like Michael Cohen would just, listen, sir, there's a case coming against you, and he go ahead and handle it. That's what was happening is he would probably clean it all up for him.
Yeah, but I mean, the way I look at it is he got away with so much stuff that he didn't think he'd ever get indicted. That's the reason.
I agree with that comment, which is what I was telling one of my earlier callers about the documents and things like that. Is he had so many people probably in his pocket in New York that he didn't have a lot to worry about, and suddenly all of a sudden now it's not working that way. I do think that you probably are onto something with that.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yep. And as you said, how you said that he had a lot of people in his pockets. Now, the one thing that I disagree with when the right wing says, "Oh, it's the Democrats' fault, this and that, and everything," but you gotta look at it this way: it's the Republicans. So all those people that were in his pockets are coming basically out of his pockets and telling on him, right?
Yeah.
And those are all his people. So they're all coming up forward and saying, "Hey, Trump did this, and everything else like that." The reason why they're blaming the Democrats because Trump did it in Georgia. And we have a Democrat judge and everything. He did it in D.C. and everything, and then he did it in New York and everything. So those are the three states. Well, Georgia's kind of a purple state, but you think of D.C. and you think of New York. They're blue states. Yeah. So you don't hear them complain about Florida. You don't hear them complain about Cannon, right?
That's true. Well, other than you mentioned Georgia, we got to see what first happens with Fani Willis. That whole case may be in jeopardy because she did something that was kind of irresponsible. But otherwise, you are correct. One of the things that's hurting Trump is he has so many folks that are in his inner circle that are snitching on him. And those aren't liberals. Those are part of your inner circle. So I do agree with you there. But I do got to move it on. Appreciate you coming in here, though.
Yeah, most definitely.
Thank you. All right, looking in the comment section, and that does hurt anyone when so many members of your inner circle keep coming forward and saying, not only is he a crook, I know because I helped him do it. That's going to happen with the fake electors case. That's what happened up in New York with Letitia James. Michael Cohen is one of the main guys that's coming forward saying he did it. That's not helping him. Now, if you support Trump, then everybody who comes forward and says something early, he's a snitch, or he's bought out, or he's doing it for a book deal. You just come up with a reason to discredit him. But the amount of folks that Trump either hired, appointed, or hung out with that's turning on him, it's a lot of people. And as I stated, folks who support Trump just say they don't have any credibility, but it's hard that's never going to work in court. A lot of folks are doing time, if not doing the rest of their life in prison because their lieutenant flipped on them, or their main friend flipped. I mean, that's kind of how the system works. It goes off of witness testimony, and there's a lot of very credible folks testifying against Trump. Ambassador Bolton, Attorney General Barr, Mike Pence. These are not folks lacking credibility. When they come forward, for instance, on the claim that Trump went to D.C. on January 6th telling these folks something that he was absolutely certain was not true in regards to the election. Trump is stating that I believed the election was stolen. Therefore, what I told these folks, even if it's wrong, is covered by free speech. When you got his own attorney general and his own vice president, like, we told you 7 ways to sundown, this election was not stolen. We even looked into it. Both Pence and Barr are testifying to that. It's hard to believe that he didn't know the election went down the way it did. It sounds more like you just refused to accept it. There's no avenue left. I mean, your own top cop is telling you, I looked into Ruby Freeman, there's nothing there. But yet he keeps going on with Ruby Freeman and her mom or whatever, they took the election. So it's not an issue of whether he thought this or that. Sounds more like he just refused to accept it. Looking in the comments, How can you vote Republicans when they're all crooks? You don't think there's any liberal crooks out there for Carrot? You really think only crooks exist on the Republican side of the aisle? If you don't vote for the Republican Party because you believe it's full of crooks, tell me where you're going to go where they don't exist. They're everywhere. They are literally everywhere. Looking in the comments, Fannie is going to put him behind bars. Yikes. There's no paper trail. They have no case. I've been following that a little bit, and some folks do agree with that, but Fannie's still fucked up. Fact is, Trump's goal is to delay. Fannie just handed him a few weeks of delay, just gave it to him. Doing something like that, sleeping with a subordinate, putting her credibility at risk. Now, she may ultimately beat it, but it does give Trump's side something to delay the case on. And perhaps when Fannie is in court, continuing to hammer Trump's side and prosecute him, people are going to know what she did, and it may affect the jury. So I don't know. What Fannie did is not helpful. It just is not helpful at all. Trump is going down, says Jess. With 91 cases, it's hard to believe he's going to beat all of them. So the suggestion that Trump may go down, I will tell you this. I absolutely, without a shadow of a doubt, believe he's going down if he doesn't get reelected. Yeah. But if he gets reelected, most of this stuff's going to get thrown out anyway. So if he gets reelected, he may not go down. That may be completely wrong. Looking in the comments, how did Biden become a multi-millionaire, only averaged 130K? He never had a real job. Oh, I can give you a million ways how someone who served in Washington as long as Biden became a millionaire. In fact, I don't think there's any of us that serves as Congress, Senate, VP, and president for you're going to walk. There's no way in hell you're not going to walk away from that without being a millionaire. Keep in mind, every damn thing you're doing is paid for. Meals, housing, vehicle. How could you not become a millionaire? You're making at least 100K at the bottom end of the scale as a congressperson. The senator makes a little bit more, VP makes even more, and the president makes even more. And I believe many of these jobs come with lifetime benefits. The idea that Biden is a millionaire after doing it, why is that so surprising? Why? I mean, who would go through all of that and walk out less than a millionaire? If you actually serve as long as Biden did and you don't walk away a millionaire, you really fucked up financially. You really are bad at your finances. You don't have any expenses for your whole damn adult life. How could you not have $1 million? All the money you've earned pretty much can be pocketed. You're getting the best inside stock tips. We all know that. Lobbyists are giving you money. Campaign funds that you can often keep and dictate where they go. How many elections have Biden won throughout his life? Congressional, Senate, vice president, now president. All of the donations. I mean, why would it surprise you that a man serving that long is a millionaire? What do you think he's going to be worth? 30,000? I mean, for real? All right, looking in the comments. Wow, he's a millionaire. He served 60, 70 years away. I think he's been in Washington since he was 29. And dude's like almost 80. He's a millionaire, okay? And you could be on the police department for 50 years and walk away a millionaire. Why is that a shock? Going back to the box. Moody Norma, good afternoon. He's a millionaire. Trump spent $143 million of taxpayers' money on golf. I hope that ain't true. Moody, good afternoon.
Hello.
Hey, so we're talking about seeking unity. If we're looking at a Biden-Trump rematch, who's the best candidate to give us that?
Biden.
Why you say that?
I'm like the lady who spoke earlier. I definitely think Biden is too old, but if I had to choose, which looks like I'm going to have to choose, I'm going to choose Biden.
What's wrong with Trump?
Everything. He should be in prison. He's corrupt. He's immoral.
Well, when you say he should be in prison, he hasn't been convicted. You don't want to throw a guy in jail before he's been convicted. He does have his day in court, right?
Well, he hasn't been convicted because they aren't charging him with the things that he should have been charged with long ago. Okay. He should never have been eligible in the first place to run for office, but he made it there. And if Trump was Obama, we wouldn't even have this conversation. He would have been looked at differently automatically. He got 3 baby mamas, don't pay his child support, don't pay his bills, don't pay anything, and he gets a pass on everything. So as far as I'm concerned, he's just a deadbeat dude that made it to president.
Trump got 3 baby mamas. He don't pay a shot. I never looked at it like that. Damn, you really degraded the man. So what has he done, though? That's hilarious. But what has he done to disqualify him from running for president, in your opinion?
Well, I think he incited an insurrection. I think that if it was any other way that you could have an insurrection, it was that, a bunch of white folks climbing up buildings, breaking windows, going in with weapons, putting nooses outside the White House. But, that was just a regular old...
It's a love fest. But Trump says it was a love fest.
Yeah, exactly. So, but if the brothers, then they try to say there was Black Lives Matter and Antifa, so we get to be blamed for everything, even though we could clearly see with our own eyes it was white folks. Yeah.
That's a good point, because originally, now they moved away from Black Lives Matter, but when you look at the footage of what took place there that day, even the people that are being escorted in, there's very few black people. So the idea that it was Black Lives Matter, you do have to ask, where the hell did that come from? I don't even think there was 10 black people in the Capitol on that day. Black Lives Matter is,
Even day, depending on what live you listen to, they're making comments like that. It's Black Lives Matter and so without any, it's amazing that we can look at things and see the same thing but have 2 very different observations. And I'm a nurse, and I used to think that right was right and wrong was wrong, and that even white people who are educated and smart are still supporting somebody even though they know he's wrong. They know that he's divisive, they know that he's immoral, they know that he don't read. Even when he was president, they had to draw cartoons and shit for him to even pay attention to his briefings.
Where did you hear that?
Measures.
Where did you hear that?
I'm, of course, exaggerating, but I know that, the media, of course, is not telling us all of it, but we know that he wasn't paying attention to his morning meetings. He didn't even go. They said he worked from 11 to 3. Yeah. Like, give me a break. If there was anybody else, how do you get to be president and accomplishing?
But I do gotta push.
He was on Twitter all day because I was following him, and he was tweeting all damn day.
But I do gotta push back. Moody. Biden is falling asleep on TV at gatherings. Is he the right guy? You got him on TV.
I don't support that either. Okay. I'm a black woman. We like to take care of our old people. He needs to go home and sit it out. Jesus fixing to call him home any minute now, and we playing around with that. I'm a nurse. I take care of patients like that. Of course, I see that he's cognitively declined. The only difference is Trump is handling his a little bit better, but no, Biden should not be running. And, they're kind of forcing it down our throats, but, I don't even think he's going to make it through the election.
Well, now I gotta give you a little credit, because you're certainly talking about some serious issues in a serious tone while simultaneously saying some hilarious shit. Now you just said Jesus is about to call him home. Jesus is on the mainland. You don't think Biden's gonna make it? What the hell?
I don't. I'm a nurse. The daily stresses of my job weighs down on my body, thinking about patients and thinking about the things that we have to go through. That dude earlier was talking about, women, and I dealt with that my whole career. And now we're at a place where women are dying, or we are in huddles and corners trying to figure out what we should do or if we should send her out. These people don't care about abortion rights. They won't even feed the kids. I'm here in Texas. They pro-life, but they ain't gonna feed them. They ain't gonna help them out. They don't want the mother to have anything. It's a bunch of bullshit. Wow. So it's a different kind of stress, but it is a stress. And being the president has to be 100 times more. That man's too old for all that.
Mm.
He is.
So do you think, even though you don't favor any of Trump's policies or direction for America, do you think his cognitive abilities are there, though, to run the country for the next 4 years?
Absolutely not.
Trump,
Absolutely
Trump,
not.
neither. You don't think?
Absolutely not. You know, he gets a pass because he can get on TV and make a joke like he was. I knew I wasn't saying Nikki. I knew I was saying Nancy. You a damn lie. You know, everybody knows that he's just going to get a pass because he's Trump and because we're used to him saying outrageous shit. But no, he's cognitively declining as well. He's just not falling. He's just not tripping over himself like we see Biden doing. Biden's showing all the obvious signs that it's time for him to go sit down or go lay down. But Trump is getting there.
Wow.
He is. I bet his cholesterol is through the roof.
Yeah, it could be. I mean, Trump. I'm going to assume. Hell, I know my damn self. I take cholesterol meds, so I can't say shit about Trump. But yeah, he's not a picture of health either. So, but his side sees Trump as completely sane, doing what's best for this country. The economy. You didn't favor Trump's economy?
I did not. I was a nurse during COVID. I believe that people were getting checks and money because we went through a pandemic, and I think people felt like they was doing better because they was at home while we was at work using trash bags and trying to borrow gloves, and this motherfucker was telling us to inject bleach. So no, I don't think he was, and I don't think the economy was better. I think that China is planning to do something even worse if he gets in because he's an idiot and he doesn't listen.
Wow.
So no.
All right, Moody, I ain't got nowhere else to go. You got me pinned with this. Appreciate you coming. Listen, anytime, come on back. This is our first time talking, right?
Yes, sir.
It's a pleasure. Don't be a stranger, Moody. Your name says it all. Moody as hell. I appreciate it, though.
Thank you.
You handled that business. All right, moving the program on. Looking in the comments, I see someone says she's my hero. Moody, give it up for Moody. All right, looking in the comments, please come back. Wow, I agree with Moody. She got me. Say it again, Moody spitting facts. Wow. Somebody's mood has suddenly changed. I do appreciate, I see on YouTube somebody who says, wow, she was great. Henry Williams there. This is how the program is ran. So understand, Moody certainly is not a fan of Trump, leans left, but we do get very, very strong supporters of the former president. Lots of MAGA come on the program, and they certainly would not be hindered because we're all about free speech here. Understand, we go left of Bernie Sanders to I'm having dinner with QAnon. Everyone gets to speak. Whether you disagree with somebody in the comments or even the host himself, nobody gives a damn. That's how the program is ran. If you do enjoy civilized dialogue without any, concern of the host trying to limit your time or censor you, follow the program. That's how it's ran. Certainly smash that like button for you TikTokers, for you folks on YouTube. We're here Monday through Friday, 1 p.m. Central. If you will, smash that like button. A subscription would be kind. You've already addressed the issue earlier. It's always the lesser of two evils. Yeah, that's true, the framing on YouTube, but the definition of who is the most evil changes from voter to voter. So understand that. I do appreciate that comment, though. She was a plantation nurse suggesting unlimited jabs. Unlimited jabs. Wow, you took that to the extreme. Now, yours truly, I don't have any education in virology. So if there is a pandemic, and the powers that be, the ones who actually have the education, tells me, this vaccine is likely to help you out or be of I'm going to get the vaccine. So I have been jabbed twice, and I've had the booster shots that's been recommended. So far, I have not had a single magnet stick to me. And of course, because you're hearing from me live, I have not dropped dead. But I have had folks on the right, some of my beloved, not just necessarily MAGA, but Q, tell me by December of 2021, myself and millions of Americans would no longer exist. The jab would have taken us out by then. Of course, that didn't happen, so they moved it to 2022, and I think now they're around 2026. But nevertheless, I haven't had any illnesses, and I've been jabbed as often as they advise. That's just the way I do. Same thing I often say with the election. I don't have the background information, so I go with the people who know what happened. That's how I do it. Nevertheless, you guys know how we run the program. I do appreciate you tuning in. 105,000 likes on TikTok. Absolutely a pleasure. Thank you for tapping the screen as I requested. See you guys tomorrow, 1 p.m. Thank you. It's your boy Tim, the handsome liberal. I'm out. YouTubers, thank you. You've already, real quick, just looking in the comments section. Prime example of how the media dictates the opinion of the masses and subverting the power of the people. I don't, without the media, you won't know shit. Because that's what often folks say, well, you're just following the media. Well, to the folks who say you're following the media, my pushback is often, well, who are you getting your information from? It's all media at the end of the day, folks. Whether you're listening to CNN or you're listening to Ben Shapiro, all of that is media. You're not in Washington every day. I'm not, neither am I. So somebody is telling you what you believe. They are media. Megyn Kelly, she's media. It doesn't matter where you're watching Fox News, OAN, CNN, Chris Cuomo, you name it. That's all media. Even if you pick up a damn book, there's a media publication that created that book. There's no way to be educated without some media influence. So I don't understand when folks, well, you're being brainwashed by the media. Well, tell me what you know and tell me what's the difference, because you're getting it from the media too. As always, I do appreciate you folks tuning in. I see Brea saying Trump. We'll see what happens in 9+ months.